Hey, and welcome to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, GT. Appreciate you tuning in. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the second phase of the railroad, and this is your schooling. Okay, so now that you've got the first phase out the way and you've applied, you've passed your background check, your drug test and everything, they've given you a school start date and everything. So now you have to make your way down to Georgia, down to their school. I worked for CSX, so we had to go down to their Ready Center down in Smyrna, Georgia. So you get down there to their hotel or whatever. They put you up in a hotel for a month. You get checked into your hotel and everything. Real nice hotels, not, some cheesy hotel. You might want to keep in mind, depending on if you decide to drive your nice vehicle down there or whatever, depending on what kind of vehicle it is, there is a high chance that it probably will get broken into because they're really notorious at the hotels for breaking in cars, at night. So remember that. As far as the hotel is concerned, it's a nice hotel. Get your own room, that bunked up with somebody, whatever. I actually saw one chick. She even brought her dog with her. So that was different because I never thought that you could bring animals to a hotel. But that's just me. So you get down to the hotel. And you got your start date, what time you need to be to school. So you go to school, you get there, they assign you to a classroom, and it's a bunch of people in there. In the classroom, they give you your operational rule books and everything. So you get down there, and you look through your operational rule books, and they also give you some rules. And one rule that you want to keep in mind is that they are really, really, really strict on being late. So one thing you don't want to do down there is you do not want to be late for class at all, if you can help it. Because they might look past it one time, but if you're late more than once, you'll more than likely get kicked out of whatever school you're going to. Because they feel, if you can't make it to class from the hotel, you're not going to be able to make it to work. So you want to keep that in mind. So when you're down there, like I said, they give you an operational rule book. You go through each question and everything. And you go through the operational rules. I believe you have a test every Friday. They're not hard tests. It's the rule book, and you go through questions like, how many feet in between two standing rail cars do you need to be? I believe it's 50 feet, I believe. Or they may say, with the remote control box, and they'll name the switches on there specifically. Like they'll say, which one is the engine brake, which one is the other brake, and what process do you go through to put it in emergency. And you're basically saying, well, I gotta, put it in stop, then I gotta put it in neutral, then I gotta this, that, and the other. But if you're looking at the box or whatever, it's really easy. It's just the way that they word it in the actual professional names. If you're not really a person that goes by original names of things, then it can be kind of confusing only because of that. So, and that'll be like your first week or whatever. They do provide you lunch. I believe they provide. Do they provide breakfast too? I think it's lunch. I believe. So they provide you lunch, and it's not a cheap lunch. I mean, they do give you really good lunch. I mean, we ate what is it? Chick-fil-A, stuff like that. I mean, so they definitely had they definitely spend a good amount of money on catering. So it's pretty good. And you also do what they call a ladder test, and it's basically where you're on a ladder. You have to climb on a ladder, and you have to hold the rings by hand for a certain amount of time. But you also have to be able to let go and hold on with one hand, because you'll be required to carry a lantern also. So they'll have you do your signals with your lantern, and what you'll do on the job, mostly obviously at night, you'll have to do your lantern signals and everything, and that's what they'll teach you out there. So that'll be your first maybe your first 2 weeks out there at the school. Hey, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, or you want to know more about the railroad, leave a comment, follow the podcast, and help this podcast grow. Have a good one.